大家好，这个耽误点时间，对不起。因为耽误我吓破胆了，都忘记要说什么了。那个感谢大家来到今晚的参会。我呢很荣幸请到了藏人行政中央的司政洛桑森格博士。所以不多说，让有请洛桑森格博士给我们演讲。
It seems the staff of Office of Tibet doesn't want me to rest. I arrived last night from Frankfurt. Actually, after a couple of cities. First started in Delhi, Madrid, Geneva, Zurich, Frankfurt, Freiburg, Frankfurt, and to DC. So it's 12 cities, 26 days tour. And I was just taking my time. It's past 1 a.m. in Europe, so I should be, in my bed by now. But they wanted me to start the program today, this morning at 9 a.m. and end at 9 p.m. And tomorrow morning again at 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. But I was told that our Chinese friends, brothers, sisters will be here. So I felt, I should say hello and ni hao to be together because some of you I've met quite recently, some of you it's been a while, so it's good to catch up from time to time. And we all are in the same boat, so to speak, and just I don't know the number of days, but just a week ago, we were at Geneva. We had this Geneva forum where actually he missed because of his travel document. But others came, so we had Uyghur brothers and sisters, Mongolian brothers and sisters, and Chinese, and some from Hong Kong as well, and experts. So the panel went quite well. And we also had presentation from Freedom House, Human Rights Watch, and Human Rights in China. Essentially, as we all know, this year it's UPR, Universal Periodic Review of China. It happens every 4 years. That Geneva Forum was organized by CTA mainly to hold China accountable for human rights violation that's going on. Because we knew that the Chinese government was planning meticulously to rather outsmart us at the actual UPR hearing, because the time allocated is only so much, and they had 140 countries registered to speak. So each country is given 45 seconds, and United States of America gets only 45 seconds, and Angola gets 45 seconds. So out of 140 countries, we had 120 countries almost praising the human rights record of the Chinese government. And we had 13 countries supporting human rights in China and Tibet and Xinjiang, and in a few countries kind of neutral. Interestingly, even Afghanistan called for respect for minorities. They didn't name Xinjiang or anything, but it's quite interesting. But when you have 140, 13 supporting us and 120 plus on the other side, the next day the Chinese Foreign Ministry released a press statement saying overwhelming number of countries, more than 100 supported us. Only a few Western countries were politicizing human rights, but they are very few, So that was the statement, and because we knew that kind of statement was coming, and that how this staged the whole thing, we had Geneva Forum to publicly put on record the human rights violation in China in general, and with our Uyghur brothers and sisters and Mongolians and Tibetans. So that's why that event was a success. And fortunately, we sent a couple of press releases. One media came, but that happened to be Reuters, and they published an article. New York Times, U.S. World News, and in the South China Morning Post all picked up. So it became news as well. So no matter how much, how far the Chinese government go to suppress news outside of China and repress people inside of China, we will work together in solidarity to speak up for human rights of Tibetans, Uyghurs, and others, including in China. Because we do believe that democracy is universal, and democracy, we do believe that it's inevitable, even in China. So with that goal in mind, we must always work together. So we should keep marching against all odds, right? I think the victory will be more fruitful, more fun, don't you think? Mm-hmm. Because we constantly hear that what you're doing is impossible, what you're doing is extremely difficult, what you're doing is not likely to happen. And I was at, in Freiburg, because there are two cities, one Freiburg in Switzerland and Freiburg in Germany. Same spelling, same, but they have pronounced differently. At Freiburg, I was asked to give a speech to people of Germany and asked me to inspire them, encourage them, so that we feel uplifted. And I said, we were inspired by Germany when the Berlin Wall came down, isn't it? I was inspired by Max Weber and his theory, And I said, actually, we were inspired by what happened with Berlin Wall and the East and the West Germany getting unified, and you are asking a Tibetan who lost his country to come to Germany, inspire you, But that's how we Tibetans think like that. The mountain people, mountain spirit, positive spirit, resilient spirit, no matter what happens to us, we always feel and believe that in the end, we will prevail. Non-violently, peacefully, we will prevail because we have a leader like His Holiness there, and his vision and our policy of middle way approach is a brilliant one. And then we also have a faith of Buddhism, which is 2,500 plus years old. And communism is 100 years old. Even in Germany, they're saying we don't care about Karl Marx and Das Kapital anymore, right? If Germany is forgetting Karl Marx and Das Kapital, I think it's 100 years old and 2,500 years old. There is no competition between the two. So that's our foundation of belief that we will prevail. And there will be democracy and there will be freedom for all of us. Till that happens, we should keep marching forward. And meeting like this, even though small, there's a Tibetan saying, the stove could be small, but the fire is hot, because our spirit is hot, yes or no? Our passion is strong, our commitment is very, very strong. So with that, we'll keep marching forward, and we'll make it happen. Till that day, let's meet, let's celebrate. Sooner than later, there will be democracy in China. Thank you.
感谢司政阁下面有请我们办公室的代表吴祝司政先生给大家发表演讲。
Well, I want to be very brief. First of all, it's a great pleasure to meet and to honor all of you here. Actually, today, our second president, Dr. Lobsang Sangay, has been able to visit DC and will be here for 3 days. I'm very sorry, actually. Dr. Sangay has really, as he said, that's very true. So he has a long stretch out program right from actually starting at 8:30 till now, and then it's still going on. So it's similar thing for the next 2 days as well. And then coming from Europe with a lot of hectic schedules, but still he was able to spend some time with all of us. We're so grateful. Thank you, Dr. Segela. And then another reason why we are meeting here today is I wanted to introduce our new Chinese liaison officer, Sudip Gyatola. I think last time when Kumala was about to leave from here, I guess Yang Qingwa and many of you are the professor here. So at that time I told you that the Chinese-Tibetan friendship and this kind of initiative is considered so important by His Holiness Dalai Lama and the Sikyong CTA. So I even told you that the replacement will come very soon. So in fact, in the history of CTA, staff appointments, perhaps his appointment has been one of the most speediest appointment that has come about. That actually explains how the CTA considers this initiative, this friendship movement to proceed further so important. So that is why I'm so happy to present our new Chinese liaison officer. And as we've been actually now since the last 10 months that I've been here, I've met with many of you quite a few times, and we met here twice. So always so glad to meet all of you. And as our Honorable Sikyong has mentioned, we have a long way to go, but we will definitely go together, work harder together, and as before, we solicit your cooperation, your commitment, your friendship, and extend all cooperation to our new Chinese liaison officer here. So with this, I think I don't want to keep long, and I'm sure you must be all hungry also. We are two, so let's enjoy the evening together. Thank you so much.
Before we're going to get the dinner, I'm gonna ask our Chinese friend to bring into the game. So, 藏汉教育应该由藏人跟汉人一起搞，所以我们要邀请两位华人界的两位有名的汉人给今天的参会演讲。首先邀请杨建立博士。
Good evening, Jashida. I'm so glad to see you here, although I didn't make it to Geneva, but you come this way. And I really appreciate the Tibetans' effort to reach out to Chinese, which I think is key to the solution of the Tibetan issue. And Mr. Sejong just said, we draw inspiration from each other. That's true. Indeed, in the nearly 3 decades, I have been drawing inspiration, strength, courage from the extraordinary struggle of the Tibetans for their freedom and their endurance despite the grievous assaults on their land, identity, culture, religion, even lives. So their struggle has been a major source of courage for me in the past 3 decades. And as we speak, we all know we speak under a very dark cloud because in the past few years, China human rights situation in Tibet have gone from bad to worse. And my heart is agonized upon thinking just, a young Tibetan man set a fire on himself a few days ago in Aba, in the Tibetan area, in protest of China's rule. In the face of such powerful evil, we may feel powerless. But it's so important we come together to draw inspiration from each other we must not lose hope. We must draw wisdom and courage from His Holiness the Dalai Lama's words. His Holiness the Dalai Lama used to say, tragedy can be utilized as a source of strength. No matter what sort of difficulties, how painful the experience is, if we lose hope, that's real disaster. So we must not lose hope. We have to continue to work together. And I respect every right of the Tibetan people to choose their own future. But this is my belief that reaching out to Chinese is so important. I believe on the way, every step to the freedom that we fight for Tibetans and for the people of China, we have to work together, step by step. And today we recommit us to work together, to fight together, and to make impossible inevitable someday. I think that someday, the time with our joint effort will come sooner than later. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yang Jianli. Next, 接下来有请自由亚洲电视台的 Director Michelle 给大家发表演讲。
Good evening, everyone. So I was in Geneva, and I'm still jet lagged. I don't know how you do this, both of you. So I'm very honored to be here tonight. We're all friends of Tibet, and a lot of you are also friends of Radio Free Asia. So as a journalist, we do our best to uncover the truth, what's going on inside of Tibet. And as you know, Radio Free Asia, we have Tibetan and Mandarin service. And in the past couple of years, we also have focused on to promote inter-ethnic understanding between Tibetan people and the Han people. So for our Mandarin service, not only we cover the news from inside Tibet, recently we just created a program catered to our Han listeners and audience to understand more about Tibetan culture and all sorts of things. So for us as a journalist, the best we can do is to keep telling the truth to the people inside China of what's going on. And I hope we can all work together to keep Tibet under the international spotlight as well. So thank you very much. Enjoy the evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 接下来呢，我就说几句，然后我们可以就去吃饭了。之前通高老师在的时候，大家对这样的支持是非常非常的好，所以我希望我新任后的今天本来应该是我新任后的第一个 event， 所以我觉得今天有点很紧张，所以说话的时候也没有那么好，所以只是想跟他说，我会好好的努力，大家也好好的给我支持，大家都给我多多指教，就这么多吧，我们可以。